My name is David. I'm an alcoholic and I've been sober since March 19th of 2021. I'm 22 years old at the moment and I got sober right after I turned 20.
My name is Quinn and I got sober June 6th, 2019. I originally got sober in 2018 when I was 22, and then I had a relapse at 23. And I'm an addict and alcoholic, but alcohol wasn't as much of a part of my story as other substances. I just know that I can't drink safely either.
Yeah, so some of the barriers I faced at getting sober young especially, and just towards getting sober in general, one of the big ones was admitting to myself that I had a problem with alcohol, especially at such a young age, and then that none of my friends were alcoholics, or at least I didn't think they were, and none of them were sober at the time. And most of the friends that I was friends with at the time still aren't sober. But yeah, I didn't have any role models my age that were sober, especially from alcohol. My drugs of choice were alcohol, weed, and Adderall. You know, I didn't do anything too hard or serious in my own book, but I was drinking, 3/4 of a liter to a liter and a bit of vodka every single day, and I was smoking weed from the moment I woke up until I went to sleep, a couple ounces a week, and I just thought, it's not great, but I'll get it under control. Well, I couldn't get it under control. I tried, and that was when I realized that I was an alcoholic. That's what kind of overcame those barriers, was that I realized that normal people don't black out 4 or 5 nights a week. Normal people, when they want to not drink, they don't drink. Their mind doesn't change halfway through the day. Normal people don't lose jobs because of alcohol. There's a couple other things as well along the same lines, but pretty much, yeah, I didn't have anyone around me showing me what it was like to be sober. So I didn't know if I could have fun sober. That was another big thing, which I've found I definitely can.
I knew that I was an addict pretty quickly. I ended up, kind of as soon as I started smoking and drinking, I started to notice that I reacted differently from some of my friends and my brother. I immediately wanted to be intoxicated as much of the time as possible, and I immediately put it above friends and family and hobbies and everything else in my life. And then I ended up going into IV heroin use, and at that point it was pretty clear that it wasn't a social thing. And yeah, from there it just became a battle of trying to get sober, going in and out of detoxes and treatment facilities, because it was pretty clear that I had a problem. And I had a very physical bottom. My bottom consisted of a lot of hospital visits, and I was really afraid that I was going to die if I didn't do something about it. It just felt like I couldn't stop using, and up until that point I had thought maybe when I'm older I'll get sober. I'm still young, but it was becoming pretty clear that it was coming to a point where I was either going to get sober or I was going to die. I saw friends of mine who had experimented with hard drugs, and then they were able to go back to just drinking and smoking weed normally. So I kept trying to do that. I went away to school in Colorado, and I was really trying to have just a normal college experience. I had made it a goal to just quit Xanax, which was my drug of choice at the time. And then I would go to a party or hang out with friends, and I would end up way more intoxicated than I should have been, severing relationships, and eventually it led me right back to my drug of choice and then to other drugs of choice. I wasn't constantly obsessing over drinking or anything, but I just felt like it was something that I needed in order to have friends my age. I felt like it was kind of a social lubricant, and I didn't want to feel out of place. And it was the same with smoking weed.
My expectations of college, and to a degree of high school as well, was to party, get drunk, smoke weed, and just have as much fun as possible. I went to one of the New York State schools. I went there and I studied business because I wanted to party. It was one of the biggest party schools in the state that was still, with in-state tuition, and business is, no offense to anyone else, but I found that it was an easier degree.
My expectations were that getting out of my hometown would kind of solve the addiction problem. I thought that I would be able to just drink and smoke weed like other people, especially in like a college setting. The issue was that I still wanted to have the fun and the friends that they portrayed like in the media, but I wanted to be able to do that without getting out of control. And I just kept trying to get that balance, and it was clear that it wasn't working. So then I felt like I wasn't going to be able to have friends my age and have a normal college experience if I wasn't continuing to drink and smoke weed, but my addiction wouldn't allow me to just stop there. Yeah, I think that I had tried to get sober on my own quite a few times. I had been to 12-step programs, I had been to NA and AA, but I had never really gotten connected. I always just would kind of go to a couple meetings. I definitely didn't think that it was going to be something that I continued into sobriety. I thought that that like AA or NA would be something that would bring me to sobriety, or even to like managed drinking and smoking. But once I actually got connected, I think I first really got plugged in when I was in treatment here. And once I started to have fun with friends that I had met in recovery, sober, that really changed my perspective. And then I started to see other young people who were having fun and pursuing careers and all of these things that I had sort of thought were off the table for me. And I started to realize that this could be something, like I could build my life around recovery rather than trying to put recovery into the life that I was leading before. Once I realized that there was a whole network of people, I realized that my life could be a lot bigger than it had been, and I could do things that I hadn't had the chance to do while I was using. I pictured a lot of like going out to dinner and going out to like bars with friends and being the one person that didn't have alcohol, or being in like a smoke circle and being the one person that wasn't smoking, because I didn't realize what a big community there was of young people who were in recovery. I've gained trust and built like genuine, trusting friendships where we're able to open up to each other and connect in a way that I wasn't able to when I was using, because my relationships in addiction really were built around substances. I was just trying to put myself around other people who would basically accept me where I was and my addiction, rather than actually just connecting and building genuine friendships.